Hello, everyone. Welcome to Feedstuffs 365 and Beef Magazine. I'm Sarah Muirhead. For the first time, cattlemen can earn grid premiums based on genetic merit of their cattle. This all stems from their investment in superior genetics. National Beef Packing Corporation announces the addition of new premiums on their U.S. premium beef grid for qualified cattle based on AngusLink Genetic Merit Scorecard. So joining us to explain the new premiums and that take effect, I believe it's August and December, are Mark Gardiner of Gardiner Angus Ranch and Troy Marshall of American Angus Association. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
For those of you that are tuning in today, we want to thank you for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to post those there in the chat area to the right of your screen. If you're joining us from social media, simply post your questions directly in those channels. So Troy, let's start with you. Let's have you tell us a bit about AngusLink in general and what the program's all about, benefits, opportunities for the industry.
Yeah, AngusLink is really designed to do one thing, and that's put more dollars in the pockets of commercial cattlemen. I think the Angus board and breeders, when they started the program, realized that a lot of the better cattle were subsidizing the poor cattle in our system, and they wanted a way to allow those commercial customers to benefit from the investment they were making in superior genetics. And we really have two programs. One is the Angus Verified, which documents those cattle are out of 100% Angus sires, and then the Genetic Merit Scorecard, which these grids are based upon. And that takes it another step farther, going beyond just the breed of the cattle, but actually looking at the genetics that go into that pen of cattle so that we can have an objective, reliable, and cost-effective way of describing the genetic merit in a pen of feeder cattle.
And now there's a new program that's being rolled out, I understand, and it's going to reward cattle producers who have cattle that kind of grade in a certain way. Talk to us in general about this program and how this is going to work.
Yeah, we're really excited about getting on the U.S. premium beef grid for the first time. And what those premiums do is if you have a score of 100 or better, which 100 is industry average right now, you qualify for a premium of $5 per head on the grid. And then starting in December, for those cattle with really, truly elite genetics, 150 or higher with the scorecard, they will be receiving an additional premium of $5 or $10 in total.
So Mark, as chairman, what does this announcement mean for U.S. premium beef and its members?
You know, Sarah, I think it's very exciting from the standpoint of when we look at the history of the beef business. And the very beginning, cattle were cattle is what people would say, and we're selling beef, but we're really differentiating value. And if you look at the beginning of certified Angus beef back in 1978, those meat scientists and those visionaries that started that knew we would be able to sort those higher quality cattle on the rail for the higher grading cattle. But you fast forward and you go into value-based marketing systems with U.S. premium beef in 1997, and we incentivized cattle that would grade certified Angus beef and prime. We put that in the grid, and that helped everybody else have to do that too. But now when you look at the AngusLink program going through U.S. premium beef, this is actually the very first time to my knowledge in history that genetic merit based on these breeding decisions is being rewarded. And I think that's so exciting because, you know, we all want to make more money, but to be able to differentiate those cattle that are truly worth more makes it better for everybody.
So Mark, what do you think this could mean for the future of the industry? Like, shout out your glass ball and tell us what you see there.
Well, we all want to make beef better. And when we look at that, you know, Troy and I have been friends for a long time, and we look at various things, and we grew up a certain way. We did things because it was the right thing to do. But Troy and I are both old enough to remember when cattle were not differentiated for value. And I think when we look at where we are in the food complex today, when we look at beef being the protein of choice, it has to be that superior eating experience. And I think when we incentivize better cattle, we create better cattle. That builds demand. That is really for what we all hear the S word, or sustainability. But better beef makes more sustainability, makes happier consumers. And we've got 2/3 of the world that's cellulose. That these ruminant cattle are the only thing that can convert that into the world's greatest tasting protein. And from my perspective, there is no better tasting protein than Angus genetics. And this just incentivizes everybody to make beef better.
It's really about getting cattle producers to work on improving their genetics to get that consistency so that we've got that consistent eating experience then at the consumer level.
Absolutely. And I think, we've always tried to do that, and most people are trying to do that for decades, if not longer. But, economics will encourage that and incentivize that to accelerate that. And I think that's what's exciting, is that people are going to be rewarded for their investment in these better Angus genetics.
So Troy, talk to us about any specifics of the program that folks need to be aware of. Are there any key dates or key details? What about cost? Is there a cost for producers? Kind of fill us in on where those things are at.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually a very simple program to get involved in. All we need to do is have the sires of those calves. So if you just have your herd bull battery, we can begin the process. We work with IMI Global to do the verification process, and we do an agent source verification at the time with that. And so that cost is really the cost of the AID and agent source verification. That runs about $3 to $3.50 per head is what producers are looking at to enroll in the program. The actual scorecard is free of charge. So there is no additional cost with that. And so the return on investment is pretty well built in. So from a producer standpoint, hopefully they get rewarded and don't have to put a big investment up front in getting enrolled in the program.
So what about cow-calf guys? Is there anything they should know about the program? How do they fit in that?
Yeah, that's probably the thing that excites me most, is that this program really is designed to send a message and some of the economic signals back to the cow-calf producer. And that's the one segment of the business that, as Mark talked about, I think they've always tried to do things right, but the system maybe hasn't rewarded them every time for doing that. And so this is just a way of starting to pass this value-based marketing revolution that we all talk about to the cow-calf segment as well. And so those producers can enroll in AngusLink and get the genetic merit scorecard at the anytime really after the birth of those calves and prior to going to the feed yard.
So Mark, what does U.S. premium beef need from producers in order to get this premium paid? Is there a process they have to go through? Is there any minimum number of cattle, anything like that?
Well, it's really as simple as doing what Troy stated for these producers. And, many of the producers that I work with retain ownership. We buy a lot of these cattle from our customers, so we'll help enroll them in that. But it's really just as simple. And part of this program is a part of U.S. Cattle Trace, which is working on a systematic traceback system. And so we put the EID in, we provide the genetic merit scorecard through AngusLink and just submit that. And it's really, like Troy stated, it's very simple, and we're excited to get started doing that.
Any final thoughts you'd like to leave our viewers with today, Mark, on the program, or any kind of key things that they need to be aware of?
Well, I think it's exciting to see American agriculture move forward to incentivize and to pay for better products. And, we just work every day. Sometimes you hear about grid marketing that there's not negotiations. And I'm actually a dinosaur from the standpoint, I was one of the original board members of U.S. Premium Beef, and that started in 1997. Our first week of operation was December of 97, and we've never not been negotiating. And so I'm very, very proud of this, because I wear two hats, literally. I'm an Angus breeder and a member of the American Angus Association, so I'm so proud of AAA and what they have done to add value to the business of beef. but I'm even more proud of U.S. Premium Beef to negotiate and to be able to bring more money through American Angus, all of us working together to help our beef producers get paid. And so that's exciting, and we're not going to quit negotiating. We're not going to quit trying to make it better. And we're so thankful for American Angus, National Beef, and U.S. Premium Beef.
Troy, anything to add to that? Any final thoughts you'd like to leave our audience with?
Well, I think Mark said it better than I ever could, but I really agree with him that it's a very exciting time in the cattle business where we're actually moving to rewarding those producers and providing an objective, reliable way of describing the genetic merit of kind of feeder cattle. And I have a lot of faith in the American cattlemen in terms of doing what's right and taking care of the consumer. And I think this is just a step that helps align some of those economics and put the right incentives in place. And so I'm really excited about where this will head and what it means for the industry as a whole and overall beef demand.
Well, very good. I want to thank you both for your time here today. Mark Gardiner of Gardiner Angus Ranch and Troy Marshall of the American Angus Association. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Likewise, we appreciate all of you tuning in today. A reminder, you can review this interview and share other interviews from Feedstuffs 365 from feedstuffs.com. Until next time, for Feedstuffs and Beef Magazine, I'm Sarah Muirhead.